with Boma Azure, who is a clinical psychologist, to help me delve and help us understand this issue better.
Yeah.
Good morning and welcome.
Good morning.
How are you doing today?
I'm doing well. How
As
about
usual.
you?
I'm also well. And, just to begin with, we want to understand what sexual and gender-based violence is and what forms it usually takes here in Ghana.
Okay, so the word abuse is coined from a Latin word meaning transgressing, right? So it is, however, relative based on whatever community that is seen transgressing against someone as an infringing upon people's rights or violating their rights. So particularly in Ghana, there are some normalized behaviors that are still against people's rights, right? Even though it is a transgressed, accepted, So a lot of times what people don't understand is that even though society has normalized certain behaviors, doesn't literally mean that it is right.
It's not acceptable.
It is not acceptable because it infringes upon other people. However, I'll just explain that gender and sexual and gender-based violence are acts, towards people in general or female in general simply because they are females. And examples of these are sexual abuse, economic abuse, psychological abuse, mental abuse, and a whole lot.
Does financial also form a part of it? Financial abuse?
Yes, it does. When females or women are neglected, just because they want to be in control, as in we understand the patriarchy system that before men worked and they had money more than women, and so financial abuse can be used as a way to control the woman.
And have power, like exert authority, that kind of power, and abuse over someone. So when you say some of the abuse that's commonly accepted but shouldn't be here in Ghana, can you give us examples of that?
Child marriages, early child marriage, female genital mutilation, sexual abuse, right? Even though people don't really come out to call it out, it is somehow accepted in some cultures. That's why I mentioned child abuse or forced marriages. Yes, that is an example of that. And then harassment, sexual harassment, openly on the streets, because a lot of times men hate rejection. Some men hate rejection. They can't accept rejection. And so they express aggressiveness, that as well. And even at workplace, at home, stuff like that, or coerced behaviors. So coerced can be more like manipulating someone to accept, to engage in a behavior they intended not to behave. Yes, and this happens every day, and it's more of a very blurry state here in Ghana.
It's like society has come to accept, even though it shouldn't be the case.
It shouldn't be the case.
So should we say our cultural beliefs or perhaps our traditional expectations, they have also not helped the situation? Does it encourage or excuse gender-based violence?
So there are some psychological foundations that support this. An example is social learning theory by Bandura. I know some psychologists or people who have studied psychology will understand that people learn behaviors from their role models. An example is the father figure in the home, right? And a lot of times you hear the father figure passing information or messages to their male children like, be a man, act up, be in control. Even though he may have 5 adult females, he will keep on pounding these messages into the mind of their boy child to act up as a man, to be responsible, to be strong. Yes. So it's more of, so they grow up with this expected toxic masculinity, right? To have a self-worth based on their dominance, based on the ability to control. I'm a man, right? So they become a product of their environment. And then there are other, what we call the normative social theory. This one also explains that a lot of communities, right, will act in an unacceptable way or behavior or attitudes just because they want to preserve their culture. So society normally would preach a sense of a belonging. So in order to belong, to feel a part of, you have to continue.
Has to conform
yes, you have to conform to what society wants. So at the end of the day, even though someone may not want a child marriage, right? But because you want to preserve the culture, you would engage in it. It's the same way with treating women or maltreating women in a way. Like a clique of men belonging to a certain ethnic group has a way they treat women. Like they have to show their dominance that this is who we are. We are the head of the home.
And I'm sure the community too, most of the time, if you report a case like that, it'll be like, oh, home matter,
be submissive, right? You have to be respectable, feminine, like you just have to really sacrifice your well-being and mental health to really preserve your home.
Yeah. Yes. But it's when it comes to physical discipline or violence in relationships, it's like it's kind of things that's been normalized. Like, if I love you, I'm going to show you how much I love you, perhaps by physically assaulting you or something. Is that a good thing? Or perhaps I may say words that may be, I'm not physically assaulting you, but they're also abusive. Like the way I'm speaking to you as well.
Yes. So, sorry, if I understood you better, you meant the thin line between...
No, like physical violence or as a sign of love.
As a sign of love, yes. Yeah. Okay, good. So, I would like to go back to history, right, to our colonizers and our missionaries, all right? When they came to Africa, in order to control the populace and for their gains or their benefit, they use corporal punishment as a way of directing us. And the missionaries who represented Christ also used corporal punishment as a way of teaching us the way of the Lord. It was more of a moral licensing to get us right with God. So it's been passed down like transgenerational trauma from our forefathers to us. And so you realize that, because I'm a school counselor for an international school, even though I went to a public or a private school here in Ghana, the structures are different, totally different, because for the international schools, they have a guided structure that do not allow their kids to be abused in any way. But because of our colonizers passing down corporal punishment and then blaring it as, say, discipline or out of love, this is how God wants you to behave, this is right, misbehaving, you have to discipline you, and all of that. It's been passed down into our schools. So you find a lot of children being treated badly, and they lose their self-identity, their self-confidence, and a lot of them are really abused by their teachers, right? And this has also been carried out into the family system, like the patriarchy, normalization of discipline and love, and trying to correct children. So at the end of the day, we just accepted that because you are loved, you have to be corrected this way, right? So an example in the Bible is spare the rod and spoil the child. So all of these were just coined to support a mission, right? But the best we can do is to enforce discipline without fear or threat. We can do it, not overdoing it, not have our children learning that they have to be punished in a very weird way to enforce behaviors. It's really bad.
When it comes to how the kids grow up, for instance, boys and girls, would you say it's what happens when they are growing up? What kind of behaviors they see? Because earlier you mentioned the fact that for boys, for instance, they watch their fathers, you know, the way they speak and all that. It's always the way they speak, because sometimes it's the actions they portray and then they copy them later in life. How true is that assertion?
Yeah, it's true, because there are gender stereotypes at home. Like, so boys are expected to behave in a certain way, the same way as the ladies, right? And so, like I was saying before, the social learning theory, men spend more time with their boys, right? And so they kind of like impose certain norms or beliefs to be carried, like men like to pass down like a legacy to their boys, and then women like to also pass down these legacies to their girls. So the more girls spend time with their mothers in the kitchen, it's always about, you know, the mentoring. The mentoring are from the same people that are being abused. The mentoring are from perpetrators, mentoring are from the victims, right? So we have to break that system, else it's going to be just cyclical in nature and all of that.
Because you remember a couple of weeks or so ago, there was a video that was trending where a lady was being abused. Her husband had lured her home because under the guise of one of their children is sick. And here's the thing, it's like the person was recording. It's like the person wasn't going to help.
Yes.
Yeah, they rather took the opportunity to record and show the world what's happening without helping them. So, and you realize that when it comes to abuse cases, I hear a lot of stuff like that.
Yes.
You know, somebody's being abused, you can hear the person screaming, you know, making noise that they need help, and yet people stay in their homes. They don't go out there to go and help them. It's like, I don't know why that happens. Can you explain perhaps the psychology behind that? You know somebody needs help, and yet you remain behind the scenes, like just letting it happen.
Okay, so one theory that supports this is in-group and out-group biases, all right? This explains that people would act with like priority when they believe that you are like me. Okay, so an example is a family system, neighborhood, and an influencer, right? So the way you would behave if it's your family member may be different from when it's a neighbor. It may be totally different when it's a public figure, right? And then we also have what is it? Witnessing theory.
The bystander.
Yes. You know, like people would just like to watch when no one really will step up.
Yeah. I believe if you are there with someone, then the both of you can. Yeah, but if it's just you,
it's just you, like, because you are considering your personal safety. You are also considering the social cost. Sometimes you have to take the person to the hospital. You have to foot the bill, and a lot of ups and downs. Sometimes going to witness in the court. Are you like really ready? Even sometimes some health professionals do not want to engage because it's a whole lot. The structures put in place.
It's not safe.
Yes, it's not safe, right? So we really have to work hard to protect witnesses and then victims. Yes, there are times the perpetrators, they are like, and they have the power and they have the money and the influence to bribe, you know, to even cause harm to the victim or even
if the person is a place of authority and all that, it's
exactly.
it's like how do we deal with this?
Yes, there have been many cases swept under the bucket, the carpets. Yes, and so because of that, people don't want to get involved because it may also hurt them in one way or the other, and so they may also lack the knowledge of how to help. Like this person was able to make a video and share it to the world. Some people may not even know what to do, where to start, who to talk to. So that too is there.
It's just but you know, there's this one thing that the literature says: people fear the shame, or perhaps they are like more than the violence itself. Like what's with that? Like because. In my opinion, if you're experiencing violence, you can die over there, and yet the fact that the public perception you'll be ashamed that it's out there, you rather stay in there.
That's because of stigma and labeling or stereotypes. Stigma in itself is disgrace, dishonor, like shame. And so it's not as if they want to remain in the toxic marriage, but it's because of the stigma attached to it. A lot of times people are absent-minded, or we don't have the emotional capability to support someone. And some people also just over-rationalize the whole act.
Okay.
And don't want to come to terms with the truth, because sometimes the truth is very uncomfortable. And sometimes people don't want to believe that, wow, such a respectable person can really do this. It's about us understanding that anyone can be an abuser, anyone can be a perpetrator, no matter what they look like, no matter what they do, right? Whether their profession, their status in the community, they can still be abusers, right?
Is that why they still stay there? Because I don't get it.
A lot of times they are not even being believed, and sometimes they don't have they are not being empowered, like financial, capability to move. The support system is not there, and it's the acceptance of.
Do you think that thing is prevalent, where it's like they don't have the financial wherewithal to leave the situation, so it's like they are forced to stay there? Because it's like, if I don't stay, I hear stories where, for instance, some people still stay because they don't want to go back to the village. It's like that kind of stigma that will come with it. It's like, then let me rather stay here, I can handle it. But they can't handle it.
So there's a theory called, is it cost benefits analysis or something? Like you rate your cost and you weigh
the pros and the cons.
The pros and the cons, yes, to see whether
this is a con.
It depends.
I don't get it.
It depends.
Okay.
Because sometimes even though the person might be that bad, they take care of the kids. They take them to good schools, like very good schools.
Okay.
And because abuse is cyclical. It's not like it's not a thin line where every day.
Yeah.
Sometimes there's happiness, sometimes there's joy.
Okay.
They buy them gifts. I'm talking about the wealthy people but coming to the very impoverished community, it's like, where do I go to? Where do I start? Because you don't even have a family to go back to. Some people are like orphans. And in order for them to start again, they would have to go through the processing of maybe learning a trade. And, our government do not have that funding. Even people in foster homes are still not being very cared for. And we have street children and all of that. And so when people, weigh their cost and benefit, it actually affects their decision in living.
It's like, earlier you mentioned the fact that if it was like an influencer or your family member, that kind of thing. So here's the case. Why is it that we can apply that theory to everyone, regardless? So it's like we see somebody being abused, and we just have to imagine, what if this person was my family member? Will I not intervene? Can we not all just, perhaps think like that? Will it not help the situation? What's stopping us?
There are some reasons why we all cannot think the same.
Because it will help. It will help a little, because it's like, okay, this lady has been abused. What if it was my sister? Then it's like it changes your whole mindset.
So to be empathic.
It's like, is society empathetic enough?
Yes, we are at to some point. Yes, that's why I said it's more. It's a bias, right? If it's your family member, you would want to do something because you are related either by blood or like familiar people around you, and then the thing is that even sometimes when it's a family member, they are not being believed. Something like rape, like sexual assault. And I also spoke about the rationalization of accepting that our father is really doing this to our sister, right? So you can't accept that the man is who he is. It has nothing to do with the fact that this is your father or this is your pastor or this is your MP. No, it is just who he is. And so before people will take time to actually accept it, they will need a lot of evidence that the abuser may not even want to go through that, because you have to go to the hospital, you have to expose the whole truth, you may even have to come on TV to share your
that kind
pain.
Of scrutiny you don't want
yes, and like I said, stigma, labeling. I mean, you can imagine someone working here and being raped. It's going to be a talk, like everyone is going to chit chat about it.
Find out who the perpetrator to it.
Yes,
like, what's going on?
And they may even blame them. You know, like you were the reason for the rape, and or you are just trying to get money from this person. You know,
like we know you to be like that.
We know you
this
to be like that, and maybe you dress provocatively.
That makes me so sad, because sometimes you hear something happens and be like, oh, it was because of the dress the person was wearing.
Exactly.
So for those who attack babies, what dress was the baby?
Yes,
it's crazy. But
and
no,
also,
sorry.
Yes, and then sometimes too, women who are married are also accused that they are there because of the money. Right. Okay. If it's not because of the money, then she should leave. But it's not always all about the money. It's a decision to really leave. Is the woman empowered? She may be married to a rich man, but she has not been empowered enough to leave.
But let's flip it a bit.
Yes.
I just received a cue that I have 1 minute remaining. That's like my credit this minute. But I just want to flip this quickly before we wrap up. Let's flip it a bit. Men are also abused sometimes, and then with them is the fact that I'm a man. You know, I grew up knowing that I'm a man, and yet I've been abused. But they will not. It's criminally underreported. It's like if I go and report it, it's be like, hey. Perhaps my spouse is abusing me, my partner is abusing me. So what, people will laugh at me. Let me not go out. So how do we change that cycle?
Okay, so with men, we have to teach them vulnerability, right? How to accept your vulnerability, how to accept that no matter who you are, you can still be abused, right? So men are also abused, and that's part of the sexual gender-based violence, right? It may be an intimate partner violence where either gender can be the abuser or the perpetrator, right? So with men, we have to teach them vulnerability, emotional regulation, communication, and then, demystifying the toxic masculinity, like to have to be a certain person or to be in a certain position to maintain dominance. How about if you are not? And, with trauma frameworks, people or kids who have lived in traumatic homes grow up to be an abuser. So imagine the man. So imagine the man did not grow up in an abusive home and married to a woman who grew up in an abusive home. That means it's the woman who would now be the perpetrator or the abuser. So he will have to still go to therapy to regain confidence and stuff like that.
So in about 30 seconds, I know it's not enough, but can we? So in this real life situation, you just mentioned therapy. What can we, the ordinary Ghanaians, do if we have to offer help, assistance to anybody going through any form of abuse? What can we do in about 30 seconds?
Okay, 30 seconds. So number one, I've stopped being judgmental because it doesn't help. And judgmental is simply by even the way you look at the person. Just by looking at you, I can tell you won't believe me because your expressions shows it all. Yes, because these are all the non-verbal cues when we are speaking with someone, your eyes, your posture, and all of that. So stop being judgmental. Number two, avoid biases. Like treat it like a family matter. And number three, inform authorities. Like, let's all come together and then advocate for this and make it a serious matter, make it a concern, and then also ask government to fund DOVSU, social welfare services projects that will support victims.
I know it wasn't enough, but thank you for the information you have to us. I want to thank you for helping us with this conversation.